Hey, welcome back to the channel. It's time for War 2 up against NewN. We're facing all of the top war alliances. I'm pretty excited to get into it. 4 awesome fights for you today with a different global going up against Protect, which did provide a few different challenges, something unique, something to test. Started off with that fight with Gulk, then moving on to the Ebb and Flow Intercept Nova, followed by Ebb and Flow Intercept Rag Thor. Very interesting to test that out, how that interaction with the metal. And then last but not least, another fight against Killmonger, this time not the main boss though, and we're on Mini Boss Island. So let's get into it. Okay, as I mentioned, we were going up against a different global. We're seeing this a little bit now with Protect. This just happened to be the first time where I was going to be going against it, where it would really work against me. Gulk being a large defender, I fortunately looked into it and realized that Magneto is a medium-sized champion. And the concern here is that if I deal more than 300% of my base attack, which shouldn't be happening too frequently, that I will be significantly reducing the damage I'm capable of because we'll be stacking the protection there on Gulk. So I was a little worried about just doing the parry heavy technique, which is what we're used to seeing from Magneto, and I wanted to test this out. You see that Gulk is magnetized. That's part of why I was assigned this. So I was also wondering how that was going to work out with the global. Unfortunately, there wouldn't be a notification. And what I immediately saw was that in just 3 5-hit combos, I already had Gulk at 80%. And so I figured, why play around with this? Why mess with this? This is a very, very winnable fight. This is probably about as easy as it gets in Tier 1 Masters War. And I'm just going to 5-hit combo. I'm going to take my time. Maybe this fight will take me an extra 30 to 45 seconds, but I'm not going to worry about it. You see, I'm even just blocking the first hits of the special attack. We're going up against NewN, so every death here would matter significantly. And of course, that's exactly how it played out. This was an exceptionally close war. Before we get too far into it, I want to give a big shout out to White Mummy, who is the creator and designer of all of my graphics that you see, and so many of the content creators here on YouTube. So he does a fantastic job, and unfortunately, I think he soloed one of our bosses again. I know he did that last season too. So just continuing on with this, you see what are we at? 64 hits here, and Gulk is almost down. The one negative to taking this fight this way is I had 2 fights that had me a little bit concerned. One is the Mini Boss Island fight with Killmonger, just because it was going to be, or at least it looked like it was going to be so different than the boss fights that I'm used to and I'm so comfortable with. And then the other fight is going to be the Ebb and Flow Intercept against Rag Thor. The concern for me was that I wasn't going to be able to just parry and heavy. Really want to make sure, if you haven't taken that fight before with this global, you take a look at it. I got some amazing advice from my alliance leader, BG leader, B Manny, something I would never have thought of, and it really helped me out in that fight. So moving into this fight with Nova, obviously the concern is, you don't traditionally want to intercept Nova if he has that furry buff, because he can parry heavy you there with the auto block when you intercept him. But I'm not worried about this fight. I've taken this fight before in the off season, and I believe I've even taken it once or twice before Loki. I can't say for certain. Plus, I've gotten very comfortable with the reparry. But then something happened here. It just feels like this happens to me at least once more. It happens to a lot of us. I made a mistake. I did not mean to throw that special. I don't know what I was doing, if I was just trying to move backwards or what. And I threw the special, and that just completely threw me off. And then you saw I took a special there. And then now I'm late. Fortunately, because of mastery setup, I was able to back out of that soon. And then Doom is just so tanky. I've got an R3 Doom here. And like I said, I was never concerned in this fight. This was, even after taking that special to the face, at some point you're like, are you sure you weren't worried? Because you probably should have been. But I really wasn't. Not that Nova's not a difficult defender. He definitely can be. I'm comfortable with the reparry. He had been doing a lot of double mediums or the medium straight into his heavy, but I'm comfortable punishing that. The biggest concern here is that this fight may take another minute or two than I ideally would like it to, but we've got him in a bit of a doom cycle here. I do think I messed it up somehow. But I'm going to come in here, going to do the medium, then 3 lights followed by the medium. And then I think I end up throwing another special too, which again, wasn't necessarily not my plan, but if I had told you my plan at the very beginning of the fight or what I was thinking, I probably would have cycled all the way to the next special 3. And then you see there, I just started thinking too much about like what I should have done, never really getting concerned. It just was weird. It was a very odd fight. It was a very unusual fight. I was concentrating significantly more on the fight in front of it. And I think it was about this point where, very similar to last war in my fight with Warlock versus Havoc, where it's like, okay, just quit screwing around. Like, this fight is way closer than it needs to be. One silly mess up, someone coming in talking to me, the phone ringing, someone deciding they really need to, get a hold of me and break through Do Not Disturb would mess this up. So let's not do that. Just put our serious hat on here and finish this. So we got rid of the Fury. I landed double parry. Like I said, I knew I could do it. It just, I don't know, just wasn't happening. And we're back to the SP3 and just going to finish this off. And so, yeah, I think that's the one thing, right? As confidence grows, sometimes you tend to underestimate a fight. Fortunately, I underestimated a fight that is very winnable with a rank 3 Doom going against a Nova here. So it would take a much bigger mess up than we saw. So here's why I was concerned about this fight with Magneto versus Rag Thor, because Rag Thor is metal, so therefore he will be magnetized and all those wonderful things that come with fighting a metal champion with Magneto. The concern here is that Rag Thor is, I believe, large. I don't think he's extra large. He's large, so he will benefit from the global, and Magneto being medium will not. And so I was very concerned about my ability to just fight this as normal. So I actually started off with the 5-hit combos. I had received great advice from my BG leader, my alliance leader. So I was very, very prepared if this fight tactic did not work. And I realized this was not probably going to work out so well because of the redoubled determination. I'm going to need to throw a special. Otherwise, Thor's going to get that crazy power. So as right here, I did throw the special and I realized, okay, go to plan B, which technically should have been my plan A. And that is just to do the parry and heavy technique. If I do trigger the global, which you see I just did, you see he has the double protection now. So we're really just not causing any damage. And that was my concern. Was that I was going to be causing very little damage, and I was concerned about a timeout or just somehow messing up as far as, because of Thor's big power. But and we'll watch this for a bit, but what my BG leader, what B Manny had suggested to me was just to do the parry heavy as usual, get myself to the R3. I will have built up a significant amount of prowess, as you see, once I get to the R3. I have triggered the protection twice. And then at this point, go ahead and hold the heavy, but let myself get hit, and the game will count it as an intercept, which will remove those extra power protections. As you see, it worked perfectly. It worked exactly as he said it would. I held the heavy, Thor attacked into me. I released because I was unstoppable. I end up hitting Thor. It removes the 2 protections from the global because intercepts count to remove. And then he's dead. So if you end up fighting that fight, if you haven't fought it yet and you end up fighting that, that's what I would definitely suggest. Just do the parry heavy, build to that SP3. You're going to have the massive fury prowesses. And then go ahead and make sure you're holding your heavy so you're unstoppable. Let Thor hit you. Let go of it. It'll count as an intercept. You'll remove the prowesses, and the game will be over, or the fight at least, not the game. And so here we go. Moving on, I think this was node 51. I think it was. It's Mini Boss Island, and I was a little concerned about this because of the Enhanced Special 1. I have fought Killmonger there previously, and I always felt like the first hit actually is not unblockable. I've done this, I think, with Domino before. And I was a little interested about how the Hurt Locker and then the Power Drain would work out, just because I was intending to use the power back. And so I was interested in wanting to keying in on making sure I did not throw 2 SP2s in a row. This was actually very early in the morning for me on a Sunday, but that's when my BG was going. I did want to work with them, and the war was incredibly tight. So I knew just to go in, stay calm. You see I'm boosted through the roof there, and I'm just very comfortable with this fight. Decided to use my similar strategy of if I'm able to keep Killmonger on his side of the map, I'm going to go ahead and just build to the SP3. I did want to see if there really was much of a power drain when he throws his special. Didn't look like much happened. Additionally, I don't think that SP1's very unblockable. Maybe I've just never understood it all these years because it's never hurt me. But it feels to me like I'm blocking it all. So anyways, not going to worry too much about it. And you see, as we're going in, I did throw the SP1, and that was my strategy there, was to go ahead and throw the SP1, trigger that judgment, so that when I went in with the light, I was going to get a massive power boost. Can't think of the right term. You see how quickly that got me to my SP3, which is now going to give me that massive fury. And at this point, honestly, I wasn't that worried about it because I know Cosmic Ghost Rider's rotations. I know how he works. And I was really just going to try to get the armor breaks going. I figured worst case scenario, I'll get the armor breaks going and I can come in and do the big damage. But as you see, we've got him there. I can go in for the SP2 because I can parry. You just heavy. I can parry again, not even worry about it. Throw the SP2. We've triggered all of the delightful things. And just going to go in and end this fight. This to me is actually a much easier fight than the boss fight. I think there's significantly less things that could go wrong in theory, and I think you have to do less. So, but again, I was just very happy with this, and I think a lot of it came from just knowing how Cosmic Ghost Rider works. At this point, the war was tied. The war was tied. It was a fantastic war against a great opponent. And so that felt good to come through for my BG. We had a massive clearing at the end in my BG, and I think there was only one death at the time through that. So some great playing. I'm in a great BG. I'm in a great alliance. And we just unfortunately came up on the wrong end of it. NewN is excellent. You see that they cleared the map with only 5 deaths. Only 5. We had 6, so we were on the wrong side of it. But the MVPs, some people that you're used to seeing, Panda Man Pete, of course, great player. Ghost and things like that, but a great player in general. PWF in my BG, fantastic player, and B Manny, of course, excellent player too. So they did a lot of the heavy lifting for us, and sometimes you just come up on the wrong side, losing 5 to 6. Definitely no shame in that. I'm feeling great. I've now had I'm deathless so far on the season, getting the Cosmic Ghost Rider fights, which feels great. It feels great to be taking fights with Doom. He just instills so much confidence, so tanky. And similar to Magneto. So I'm excited for the start to the season. Personally, I would like to see us get a win or 2 under our belt so we can, get Masters locked up as quickly as possible, but I'm confident that will happen over the course of the season. Thank you so much for watching. And if you have knowledge on that Killmonger fight, like I said, I've taken that many times over the years and just always found that the unblockable SP1 doesn't work out the way I think it should. But it works out to my benefit, so I don't sweat it. Thanks so much for watching. Take care, and we'll see you soon. I hope you either learned something, were entertained, or even better, a little bit of both. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow on Twitter at VegaGaming583. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.